It is believed that about 100 hairs fall out of a healthy person's head every day. A lot, at first glance? But when you compare it to the total number of hairs on your head, it's not as daunting. So, how many hairs are there in our hair? Many people think that their number is impossible to determine. In fact, experts have long ago made approximate calculations, depending on the sex of the person, their age, and even the color of their skin. How much hair on the head? It is established that on the head of the average person grows up to 150,000 hair. In order to calculate more accurately, it is necessary to find out their color. Thus, the most luxuriant hair can boast of blondes. On the average, there are 140 to 150,000 hairs on their heads. The brown hairs and the brunettes have slightly fewer hairs, from 100,000 to 110,000, and the smallest number of redheads only about 80 to 90,000. Such diversity is explained by the thickness of hairs, which is determined in accordance with the thickness of human skin. The rougher the skin, the thicker the hairs and the smaller the number of hairs on the head. Redheads have the densest skin, and consequently their hair is the most coarse, about 0.07 millimeters in cross-section. Blondes have thin skin, so they have very thin hair, which is no more than 0.04 millimeters thick. What does the number of hairs on my head depend on? There are many factors that influence the number of hairs. The main one is age. A child's hair begins to grow in the womb. At birth, the number of hair follicles in the baby is about 600 per square centimeter of skin, and as they grow older, the number gradually decreases. In the first year of life, the child has around 400 hair follicles, but by the age of 12, there are only 320. The thickness of hair grows with it, which makes the hair look thicker. Children aged 12 to 14 have the thickest hair. Over time, the hairs become thinner, they do not grow as well, and, most importantly, they fall out more. Older adults lose up to 120 hairs a day on average, and no more hair grows in their place. It has been proven that women at the age of 50 lose up to 20% of their original hair volume. The second factor that affects hair volume is gender. Women have thinner skin, so they have about 10% more hair than men. In addition, men produce male hormones, which causes them to lose about 120 hairs a day, while women lose about 80 hairs a day. Another reason that influences the thickness of the hair is the longevity of hair and its growth rate. On average, each hair lives from 4 to 10 years. It grows about 0.4 millimeters per day, and hair grows much more actively during the day than at night. They also behave differently depending on the time of year. The best growth is observed in summer and spring, while the most dramatic hair loss occurs in the fall season. Why does my hair fall out? If you lose between 80 and 120 hairs per day, it is considered normal. If the number is much higher, it's worth thinking and possibly seeing a doctor. There are many reasons for hair loss. The most innocuous are wearing tight hats or walking around without a hat in freezing weather. Sometimes the loss of lushness of the hair is caused by stressful situations, improper diet, internal diseases, the use of certain medications. The cause of hair loss may be an heredity. Some young people begin to go bald even at the age of 18 to 20 years, which is associated with the same disease in some of their relatives. How to count your hair? Counting the number of hairs on your head is simple enough. There are approximately 270 follicles per square centimeter of skin in adults, and the surface of the head has an area of about 580 square centimeters. This means that there is an average of 156,600 hairs on the head. To calculate more accurately the volume of your own hair, you should contact a specialist. Some salons offer a computerized phototrichogram, which allows you to determine the number of hair follicles per centimeter of skin.